Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I am the Maize Mad Man. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button for me. Share this with your people on social media. Also, drop a comment and subscribe. I want to apologize for my voice. I'm a little under the weather, but I had to come and talk to everybody before we go into battle. Tomorrow, Michigan takes on Alabama in the Rose Bowl in the semifinal of the college football playoff. We're going to speak about it. I'm going to also give my score predictions. Also, Michigan's future is now. Jim Harbaugh talks about five-star quarterback, incoming freshman, Jaden Davis, who is practicing with the team. All that, and of course.
No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans, poor little bro them. And I'ma tell them where I'm at. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset.
Maize and Blue Nation, it's Tom Brady. I co-founded Autograph with one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. That's why I'm excited to announce the release of a new app that recognizes the biggest Michigan fans. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best Michigan content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines, all for doing the things you already do, like listening to this podcast. Head over to the Apple App Store and search for Autograph Rewarding Fans and download today.
First things first, I'm going to tell them why I'm mad. I'm upset. Damani Jackson choosing to go to Alabama over Michigan is disrespect. Damani Jackson had been playing at a school in USC who wasn't properly developing him in his skill set, right? 2 years in college, he has 0 interceptions. Meanwhile, during his recruiting process back in 2022, when he and Will Johnson were going from school to school, silently committing to Ohio State at one point, silently committing to Michigan at one point, taking Will Johnson out to California so he could visit USC. But Will knew better. Will knew if he wanted to be developed, number one, if he wanted a chance to win, number two, that Michigan was the better choice than USC, of course, where Damani Jackson ended up going. Because Damani Jackson, one, wanted to be close to family, and two, it was more lucrative, let me say that. Obviously, in those 2 years, Damani Jackson, year one, found himself in a rotation. This past year, of course, he was the undisputed starter, but what did he have to show for that? Some tackles, 25 solo tackles, 32 all-purpose tackles. He had no forced fumbles, no interceptions, 0 touchdowns. It's disrespectful. Then he shows up at Alabama's Rose Bowl practice, shakes hands with Nick Saban, and decides that this is a better place to develop his skills. But, well, you know what? You chose wrong. Michigan and Will Johnson will help you see that come tomorrow. But I'm upset about it. We move on. Let's move on to the Jim Harbaugh contract situation. As of now, obviously, Jim Harbaugh has not signed that extension, the rumored extension or the previous extension, whichever one is real, because there is some question to the Ian Rappaport reported contract, but I'm not here to dispute that. Either way, Jim Harbaugh has not signed an extension with the Wolverines per the release of this video. That said, Jim Harbaugh, it is a little more understanding around the Michigan circles, apparently. It was a situation as of when Jim Harbaugh will sign, or they thought that would be sometime soon, to now it appears that Jim will at least hear out some NFL teams, most importantly the Los Angeles Chargers, and what they have to say. Not to say that Jim is gone, but he will at least hear these teams out. And that is according to Sam Webb of 24/7. I'll keep you posted as more information becomes available. But Jim Harbaugh, right now, we also know he has signed a new agent that has connections with Tom Brady and other NFL people, and has deep connections with NFL executives. So we know that right now, but we'll let you know if more information becomes available. You know what? I almost forgot. Before we get into the next segment, got to take a moment to point and laugh at those vile, disgusting, cesspool-laden Buckeyes and that vile, disgusting cesspool that is Columbus, Ohio. They lost 14-3. I'm not sure if you guys heard. They right before the game, their entire offense, which is Marvin Harrison, decided that he would opt out, and the team at that point knew that no amounting to praying to any God that, you know, anybody prays to was going to help them. No amount of, you know, Hail Marys, Hamdulillahs was going to help them. And they went out there and lost 14-3 to an SEC team, Missouri. No disrespect to Missouri, who had a good season, but Missouri held that mighty Ohio State offense to 3 points. The mighty offense. Remember that offense we were hearing about in the preseason that people were saying was going to score, 45, 50 points a game this season? That offense? Yet Missouri held them to 3 points. Shout out to Missouri. And look, no disrespect, respectfully, but disrespectfully is disrespectful for a Big Ten team to go out there and lay an egg like that. But the egg was not just on the face of the other state, because Penn State decided that they would go out there and lay an egg too, and they got rolled by Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin and company put a beating on James Franklin. But, James Franklin, big game, stuff happens. Although, James Franklin had been performing pretty well against SEC schools in the past. I think they won, they had a home and home with Auburn. They took that. I think they beat a SEC team in the bowl season last year. Either way, it doesn't matter, because this year, Penn State, the other state, both took L's. And I'm sure if poor little bro them had been bowl eligible, they would have taken an L too. But, you got to win a certain amount of games to even be, eligible to play in a bowl game. But I digress, and we'll just take this moment to point and laugh. Okay, back to regularly scheduled programming. We're going to talk a little bit now about 2024 commit 5-star quarterback, depending on the service, Jaden Davis, who has joined the Wolverines in their Rose Bowl preparation. He and about 8 other commits from the 2024 class. And he has received some high praise from both his head coach and the incumbent starter at the position, J.J. McCarthy. Coach Jim Harbaugh had this to say about Jaden Davis. We can talk a lot about what already happened in his high school career, but the latest is being able to watch him on the field and get to coach him. The thing that is sticking out is, like one book, you give him a coaching point, like I've given him 4 now since he's been here, and he gets it immediately. It's in the next rep. He's doing exactly how I explained it. He also said just the intelligence, the athleticism it takes to do what I found is rare, that you have that, you can understand something, and then athletically be able to just repeat it. Just go do it, as opposed to having many reps. That is what Jim Harbaugh said. He also went on to say that it was like watching J.J. McCarthy early on when he first got the starting role. So that's high praise for Jim Harbaugh, because we know how Jim feels about J.J. McCarthy. But speaking of McCarthy, he had this to say. He's extremely, extremely cool. I haven't been in this position where I've been the starter for 2 years and guys are just coming in, and just being able to have that relationship with such a great guy and great family. It clicked from the start. He's just a tremendous athlete, tremendous thrower of the football. I trained with him a couple times this past summer, and the sky is the limit for him. Just a great leader, such a great teammate. Just have so many good things to say about him, but I can't wait for him to show you guys. So high praise from both the coach and the quarterback for an incoming quarterback. So Jaden Davis getting that praise is a positive, obviously, for him going forward, and hopefully, he can see this praise turn into results on the field as a Wolverine. But we'll see what happens. All right, we've reached that time where we are going to give predictions. We're going to talk about who wins this game and why. For me, it's obvious. I think Michigan wins this. Michigan is the number one team in college football. I have been making an argument for them to be the number one team in college football since that Penn State game. I think it's a no-brainer, really. I think that Alabama obviously is a good team. They're coached by the greatest coach in the history of college football right now. I got to give him his flowers. But the better coach, and I stand by that, by the way, OSU fans who were coming for me on Twitter for saying that Jim is better right now than Nick Saban. Not greater, but better. They just can't discern the two, which isn't shocking, being that they root for that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, but that's another story. Either way, I think that Michigan is the better team. They're the better football team. J.J. McCarthy, I give him the edge at quarterback. We have the better offensive line. We have the better defensive line. I give them the edge at wide receiver, but we have a bigger edge at tight end. I give them, I think it's a wash at linebacker, but I might lean towards Michigan at linebacker because I like Hausman and Barrett, who is, by the way, the number one linebacker per PFF in college football this past year. And then Junior Colson is a beast. We all know that. I'm giving Michigan the nod there. I'm giving Michigan the nod in the secondary because Will Johnson is the best player in either secondary, and that includes Kool-Aid McKinstry. Michigan has the better running backs, no question about it. By the way, another reason Michigan will win this game, they did not have a healthy Blake Corum last year. People forget that. There will not be a Philly special on the 1 yard line this year. I can promise you that. People forget that. Hopefully the referees do not miss an obvious touchdown throw from JJ to Roman Wilson that everybody in America saw in 4K. Even with that said, all the position battles that I think are in Michigan's favor, except for arguably linebacker, arguably defensive line, and maybe special teams. That's it. But I think Michigan wins this game because they have the better coaching staff along with the better coach right now. Like I said, I stand by that. And J.J. McCarthy has the experience in these games, these moments over Milroe. J.J. McCarthy is the more accurate passer. J.J. McCarthy is the better third down passer. J.J. McCarthy is the better play action passer. J.J. McCarthy is the better passer on the run. Did I mention Michigan is the better run team? There isn't anything on offense that they do better except for Milroe using his feet to, put pressure on the defense. He is going to be the best athlete on the field when he's out there. I stand by that. That being said, Michigan should win this game. Michigan had the number 2 scoring defense, I believe, total defense, number 1 scoring defense, number 2 total defense in all of college football. That will be a factor. I do think Milroe turns this ball over in this game, maybe twice. One of them a pick, and I'll say another one a fumble. I think that is given. That's a given. I think Michigan scores early, puts the pressure on Alabama. Michigan goes up, I'm going to say 10-0 before Bama maybe gets a field goal. At the end, I think I gave a final score of 29-20 when I was on my live. I'm going to go ahead and up that. I think Michigan wins this game 31-20. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comment section. Let's talk final scores. 31-20 is my final score. What's yours? Also, Big shout out and congratulations to my BMF brother, Darbo, who was married this weekend. So congratulations to you, my guy, and go blue, of course. Until next time, no, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ladies, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'ma calm down. Son. I just don't get that all that mace and that lock and all that puff. I just don't get it, son, for real.
Just calm
And how the